Good morning, football fans, and welcome to State of the Beavers. Wipe your eyes because we have a good one today. This is your weekly look at Oregon State football, where momentum shifts, pressure builds, and every result leaves a mark on the season. I'm Brian, the brains behind the podcast. My hosts John and Stacy will be giving you the weekly breakdown, where upsets happen, expectations change, and no two Saturdays ever look the same. Now let's get into it.
Fade in. Fan talk. Logo on the screen. Yeah, we back in the bar. Yeah. Kick off on a Thursday. Headphones, hallway, walking to class. Talking about rankings and run game. Who hitting harder, who missing gaps. Yeah. State of the Beavers, we break it down. From the first down snap to the final crowd sound. From the dorm room couch to the nosebleed seats. We speaking on the trenches and the DB speed. State of the Beavers. Tap in, let's ride. West Coast weather with that Beaver pride. From the student section up to alumni. State of the Beavers. Run it back, rewind. Tap in, let's ride. West Coast weather with that Beaver pride. From the student section up to alumni. State of the Beavers. Run it back, rewind. Got stats in the notes app, hacks in the group chat, fire in the chat. Call in, what's up, Cavallis? We talk grit, talk grind, talk balance. Game day fit, orange hoodie, black cap. Replay the clip when the pocket collapse. We pick wins, pick spreads, pick sleepers. Podcast banging for the real true believers. State of the Beavers. Run it back, rewind.
Welcome to The Debate. Today, we're diving into Oregon State football, and specifically the dramatic shift under new head coach Caleb Ward, the architect, after that really explosive Week 1 win over Bowling Green.
And that win, it really forces a tough question, doesn't it? Does that immediate offensive success mean they should prioritize winning now? Or does Ward have to, stick to the original long-term plan of a developmental recalibration?
For me, I'm looking squarely at the evidence. And the stats from Week 1, well, they scream that immediate competitive performance has to be the priority.
And I'm going to hold that. For the program to be sustainable, you have to stick rigorously to that foundational development mandate he was hired for.
Ward was hired with a pretty explicit directive. Compete immediately. Stop losing games you're supposed to be winning. And Week 1 delivered on that. It wasn't just a win, it was proof that his modern scheme works right now with the talent they already have. I mean, over 420 yards of offense, and the key thing for me, 228 rushing yards and 4 rushing touchdowns. That rushing total alone is higher than their season high in 4 of the last 6 games under the old regime. You look at Malik Murphy's 177.4 QBR, his 13.0 yards per completion, it shows Ward has immediately raised the ceiling. You just have to maximize that edge when you have it.
Okay, I see why you'd think that, but let's not mistake one good game against, frankly, a mid-level opponent for real foundational change. The old system was defined by stagnation, by stalled player development. Ward was brought in to fix those systematic failures. So the true mandate is to stabilize the program, to build something that lasts. Rushing for 228 yards against Bowling Green doesn't just magically erase the need to develop players faster than your competition can recruit them. If the architect pivots now just to chase this early high, he risks, completely neglecting the deeper structural work he was hired to do.
But look at the efficiency, though. Look at Anthony Hankerson, 137 yards at 7.2 per carry. That kind of efficiency is the ultimate expression of Ward's whole philosophy. Close games and perform above their talent level. This success is the recalibration. It's an identity shift right there towards dominating the run game, which inherently, it limits the other team's possessions and it stabilizes the game.
I'll grant you the run game was spectacular. I mean, it really was. However, that kind of explosive offense can often create a false sense of confidence. And we can't just ignore the defensive side of that 35-19 scoreline. The Falcons scored 19 points, including 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. Ward's entire reputation was built on fixing poor late-game management. So what if that high-flying offense is just masking defensive lapses, especially giving up cheap scores late when the game should be totally sealed? If that's the case, we haven't solved the sustainability problem at all.
This podcast is presented by Pine Valley Auto Group. From rugged trucks to everyday commuters, find your drive at Pine Valley.
This is The Brief on the key results and shifts following Week 1 of the 2025 college football season. So, Week 1, it just exploded with chaos. I mean, we saw some stunning upsets, a total overhaul of the national rankings, and it really set an intense tone for what's coming in Week 2. All right, let's get right into those shocking results. So first up, the biggest game of the weekend. We had number 1 Texas just barely surviving a 45-43 thriller against number 3 Ohio State. They just escaped. But the real seismic shock, that was number 12 Miami, who completely dominated number 5 Notre Dame, winning 21-7. Just wow. Second, what did all this chaos do to the rankings? Well, the top 25 got a major shakeup. Texas is still holding that top spot, but Ohio State, they dropped hard from number 3 all the way down to 8. And Miami, after that huge upset, they shot up to number 5, while Notre Dame fell way down to 14. You've also got Georgia moving up to 3, with Bama now sitting at number 7. And finally, let's talk about the early Heisman watch, the award for the nation's best player. And what's wild is that it's all about the wide receivers right now. Leading the pack is Jeremiah Smith from Ohio State. Get this, 10 catches for 144 yards and 2 touchdowns. And right on his heels is Alabama's Ryan Williams, who had 10 catches for 158 yards in their win. So yeah, the opening weekend gave us dramatic ranking shifts and put 2 explosive receivers squarely in the early Heisman spotlight.
This podcast is presented by Pine Valley Auto Group. From rugged trucks to everyday commuters, find your drive at Pine Valley.
Welcome to the debate. Our focus today is really laser-locked on the early season context for Oregon State, specifically their Week 2 game against Fresno State. And the question is pretty direct. Given the, frankly, bizarre scheduling and their Week 1 result, does this game represent a serious, high-risk trap, or is it just a routine chance for the Beavers to solidify their standing? I'm arguing that the logistics here make this a very dangerous contest.
And I'm going to maintain that this is, a standard hurdle for any competent program. It's not a crisis. It's really just a requirement to prove you can win consistently before the real test begin down the line in Week 4.
The risk for me is just baked right into the timeline. I mean, Oregon State played a late Saturday game, a 10:30 p.m. kickoff on August 30th, and now they have to immediately pivot for another 10:30 p.m. kickoff on a Friday, September 5th. That is an incredibly unforgiving 5-day turnaround for recovery, for preparation, and this whole compression happens right before they have to go on the road to face number 6 Oregon. So you take that strain, you add it to the fact that they only won 35-19 against Bowling Green, and the vulnerability just seems obvious to me.
Okay, but to counter that scheduling risk, you have to look at the evidence from Week 1 itself. A 35-19 win, a 16-point margin, that represents stability. I mean, we saw chaos all over the country in Week 1, right? You had ranked teams like hashtag 22 Tennessee losing a 45-42 shootout. You had hashtag 1 Texas barely surviving against hashtag 3 Ohio State. In that kind of environment, securing a clean 1-0 start with a double-digit win is, I think, a pretty powerful confirmation of execution. The focus should be on building on that, on handling a non-ranked team like Fresno State.
I get that, I do, but that 5-day turnaround, and specifically the back-to-back late kickoffs, that creates a unique physiological stress. It just short-circuits the team's circadian rhythm twice in less than a week, and it severely limits the deep recovery you need in a physical sport like this. The prep timeline for Fresno State is, for all intents and purposes, collapsed, and that fundamentally elevates the risk of mental errors and, physical fatigue come Friday night.
Sure, but a mature team has to navigate these things. These are the quirks of a schedule, and the material suggests this grind is accounted for. You're focusing on the immediate short week, but if you look at the schedule holistically, the team has a bye week right after that tough Week 4 game against Oregon. That recovery period is built in. It suggests the program anticipated this early push and has a plan to manage it.
I'm sorry, I'm just not convinced by that argument at all. A bye week in Week 5 does absolutely nothing to help them prepare for Fresno State this Friday. That's a mitigation strategy that is completely irrelevant to the immediate problem. It doesn't give them back the 48 hours they just lost for defensive installs and physical recovery. The threat isn't in Week 5, it's right now.
Right, so let's go back to the 35-19 result then.
Where you see vulnerability, I'm seeing competence. Compared to the struggles of other top programs, a 16-point victory shows they can execute against a team they're supposed to beat. And that's exactly the task in front of them with Fresno State. They showed they could pull away and secure a win, which confirms they belong in the conversation as a reliable team.
But that's my point. The specific score, giving up 19 points to Bowling Green, is what's alarming. That's a non-conference opponent they should have handled much more definitively. So you take that level of, let's call it a defensive lapse, and you combine it with the acute physical strain of this schedule, and you have the perfect recipe for an upset. The team needs to be flawless to overcome the scheduling penalty, and that Week 1 result suggests they are already operating without that margin for error. Ultimately, it seems to me the unique constraints here, the Friday 10:30 p.m. start right after a late Saturday game, it just transforms this Fresno State contest. It becomes more than a game. It's a litmus test of Oregon State's depth and their resilience under, frankly, systemic stress. It's a defining, high-stakes moment that goes far beyond a typical Week 2 matchup.
And while I acknowledge the schedule is tough, the evidence of a 1-0 start in a volatile Week 1 landscape suggests competence. Securing a win against Fresno State is just the next logical step in establishing themselves as a consistent team before the truly critical games arrive. And that means, the Week 4 matchup against #6 Oregon.
Welcome to Corvallis, Oregon, in the house Ocho Cinco and Hoosh Manzana built. Research Stadium, home to the Oregon State Beavers. We've got a sensational matchup for you. Fans have been filing in and getting ready for this game. As we'll see a squad from the Mountain West, the Fresno State Bulldogs, taking on a team from the Pac-12, the Oregon State Beavers. For EA Sports College Football, I'm Reese Davis, joined here in the booth by David Pollack and Jesse Palmer. And guys, let's get this thing started. And the Beavers will boot it away to start the game. On the move from inside is 5. Not a lot of space to be found. Good hustle by the coverage team, and they stop him at the 21. So Fresno State's offense takes the field. And what a performance, an aerial show from this guy in the last game, and he has to have a ton of confidence coming into this one, David.
Yeah, it was a great week, and watching that tape before this game, like you could tell, man, he was singing it quick, the ball was coming out, just touchdowns at will, a really nice day, and I think, Jesse, you take that and you start to build on it for this offense and really continue to trust him to make plays through the air.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think he really earned his offensive coordinator's trust after that performance. So I'm anticipating the playbook to expand a little bit in this game. Maybe see some...
Oh, he's got some space. Now they're starting to feel it. They've got a first down at the 44. Here's this offense with a fresh set of downs. From the gun, the running back has it. They'll pick up 4, 2nd and 6 coming.
And that's a really nice play. It's impressive. When it's first down and the defense thinks you might be running the football, you still can line up. You can get some movement at the point of attack and find a little crease for your running back.
Leaves it with the running back. They've got it inside the 30. They'll mark it at the 28. It's first down. Fresno State back to work with a fresh set of downs. He'll keep it himself. He's brought down, but not before they pick up the big first down.
The defense has got to do a better job with assignment football. Somebody has to be accounting for the quarterback on these run plays. You know you're going to see it. You've seen it on film. The option play, nobody home. He just takes off. That's an easy first down pickup for the offense. Moving forward now, the defense, they've got to settle in, and they've got to start playing better when it comes to assignment football.
Dropping back, it's Warner. Quarterback feeling the pressure, and down he goes at the 22.
And the defense gets a sack, and that's going to be the big determining factor in this football game. A week ago, he only got sacked 1 time. They've already got him on the ground. If they want to win this football game, they got to keep getting after the quarterback.
On 3rd and long, a check down would be the last resort. Right on the money. He steps out of bounds right at the 15-yard line. They'll try to salvage a field goal on this drive. And it's no good. The defense.
He made that defense look silly. Out in the open field, he's making people miss, breaking tackles, scoring touchdown after touchdown. And this offense has vowed to find new ways to get him the football. So we're going to see something else that we haven't seen before because of this guy's unique talent in this one.
Yeah, and the defense, all eyes on him. That will be the main focus. More guys in the box. I wonder if it opens up the play-action game and the perimeter throws and maybe some big plays through the air because they know he is the man, he is the guy, he is priority number one.
Out across the 30 to the 39 after getting 10 on that one.
You know, as a defense, you can have the right call and the right guy in the right spot, but that guy's just too good. And how about the running back on that play? Just making it happen, breaking off the huge gain. It's tough to get these guys on the ground.
Out of the gun to give to the back. And he's able to shed one tackle and gets a pretty good pickup. I wonder how much fun this is for him. The head coach trying to take down the old alma mater across the way.
Yeah, I think these are always mixed emotions and how you feel about this, playing your old squad. Like, it's something about it, I'm sure, that's nostalgic, and all the memories probably come flooding back. But there's also a competitive element, Palmer, that you want to beat this squad. Like, this is the next team in your way for you accomplishing your goals and dreams.
Yeah, he's probably experiencing the emotional spectrum coming into this game, but make no mistake about it, he has to separate himself from his past allegiances and understand he's the home team. He wants this crowd to get in this football game. You know, he just gave a rousing speech to his guys in the locker room before taking the field. He wants to win this game versus his alma mater.
After picking up a couple at 2nd and 8. To the air, it's Murphy. Fired just a little too long as the junior frustrated he missed that connection. After the second down misfire, looking at a 3rd and 8. Might be changing the route. On 3rd and long, he's going to have to throw for it. It's picked off, and they ruin the drive with a turnover. He was looking for that bit, David, but then the mistake just crushed him.
Yeah, and those mistakes are going to happen. You're going to throw the football, you're going to throw interceptions, but I think I stay aggressive with this offense. I get back to what I did in the first part of that drive, what made me successful.
I agree, David. Just turn the page if you're a quarterback, right? On this drive, you did a lot of good things there leading up to that pick. Forget about it, move on, play the next play.
Didn't get much on 1st down. It's 2nd and 9. Looking for room. It's Hankerson. And he knocked him down after a gain of 3 to the 23.
Man, it's really hard to control the running game if you don't control the line of scrimmage. And how about the defensive line doing a great job attacking those guys up front, not open up lanes to run through. Nice job just nullifying that run altogether.
Quarterback adjusting the pattern. Looking downfield, it's Murphy. All kinds of room to throw that one in there. Defense caught out of position, and they get him down finally at the 38.
It's a scoreless game, but it feels like after that completion, that may finally break. It's been tough sledding for both of these offenses. That time, they had the matchup they wanted. They took the shot. Really nice throw. Maybe that's the play that generates the first points of this game.
And the defense holds firm. No pickup at all on that play. Got stuffed on 1st down. It's 2nd and 10. Wants to go up top. Grabbed in the middle. It's Walker.
When these wide receivers work the middle of the field, so much of this is feel. Understanding where the holes are in the zone or understanding how to get leverage on a man. And these wide receivers are dangerous nowadays because they do it so fast and see that so quick and make those plays over the middle.
They'll try to pick it up on the ground. They tried to go smash mouth on 3rd and short, and it did not work against this defense. Looks as if we have an injury on that last play, and we'll take a break to check him out. So the offense is going to go for it on 4th down. He'll try to throw and pick up the 1st down. Finds a man in the middle. And they finally make the tackle, but this will be a pretty easy conversion for this offense. They were easily within field goal range there, but they don't feel like you can win this game 3 points at a time.
Nah, pass. I mean, you got to be aggressive. You got to get touchdowns, man. You've seen the emphasis. Defenses are...
Oh, he just handled it poorly, and it's a fumble. Defense covering it up and not letting the offense get it back. It's a turnover.
You just wonder about this guy's confidence right now. After fumbling in his last game, he's just fumbled again now. He seems like he's a little bit unsure of himself, and because of that, if you're the offensive coordinator, how many more times do you want to go back to this guy in this game?
Now, we'll hang on here. The coach has called a timeout. He wants the officials to take another look, thinks he's got a good shot at getting this one overturned. The coach still thinks he was right. The officials say he...
Playing the second option. There was absolutely nowhere to go. Nice job being dialed in exactly where the ball was going and how to get him to the ground.
Makes the catch. It's Freeman. Still running at the 40. Down to the 26-yard line before they ride him out of bounds, and this defense is on its heels.
I know this isn't the start the offense wanted. They don't have any points so far in this game, but sometimes it just takes one explosive play to turn things around. And after that beautiful completion deep for the offense, that should give them a little confidence, a little momentum. They've now got to be able to score points on this drive.
And how about that young man getting in the backfield again? He's really got his fingerprints all over this game so far to start it, man. We're still in the first half, and he's got a sack. He's got a tackle for a loss. These are the kind of plays.
Pressure is on the way, and the pressure has arrived, and down he goes at the 30. The number one job is to protect your quarterback, and they weren't able to do it long enough that time.
This offensive line race, they've got to do a better job communicating pre-snap. Try and figure out which people on defense are going to be rushing the passer. Right now, this offense just looks confused up front.
Now a lot of work to do to move the chains, keep this drive alive after that earlier sack. Looking for the end zone. And it's almost intercepted in the end zone. It's caught, but it's out of bounds. Just an incomplete. And a bullet dodged by this offense. And for the second time tonight, they'll trot out the field goal kicker. He's got it, showing off that big leg from 47 yards out. And for a quick update, let's go to Kevin Connors in the studio.
Guys, let's get you up to speed on...
This podcast is presented by Pine Valley Auto Group. From rugged trucks to everyday commuters, find your drive at Pine Valley.
Campus, sun on the brim so bright. Talking about Saturdays, all through a Tuesday night. Yeah, cruising down campus, sun on the brim so bright. Talking about Saturdays, all through a Tuesday night. Yeah.
This is The Brief on the Week 2 halftime report between Fresno State and Oregon State. So what we've got here is a snapshot of a tight, defensive college football battle. We're talking heavy rain. And it reveals exactly why Fresno State is holding on to this slim 3-0 lead over Oregon State. First, let's get this straight. This 3-0 score, it all comes down to turnovers. Oregon State has just been beating themselves. You know, they've got 2 of them, an interception and a fumble by running back A. Hankerson. Fresno State, on the other hand, 0. And what makes that the entire story is that the total yardage is nearly identical. Second, That turnover issue really shines a light on the huge gap between the quarterbacks. Fresno State's E. Warner was super efficient, posting a 172.9 passer rating. I mean, that's nearly perfect play. His top receiver was Jay Freeman. But on the flip side, Oregon State's M. Murphy really struggled. He threw that costly interception that C. Bracha from Fresno State managed to snag. Finally, before you think this game's a lock, you have to look at Oregon State's defense. They are absolutely keeping them in this thing by dominating the line of scrimmage. Their standout, T. Collins, has been a wrecking ball. We're talking 2.0 sacks and 3 tackles for loss. That relentless pressure is the reason Fresno State only has those 3 points.
This podcast is presented by Pine Valley Auto Group. From rugged trucks to everyday commuters, find your drive at Pine Valley.
To the dam, pull up a seat. We chew through tape, not just receipts. From Corvallis grass to the West Coast breeze. We break down schemes like degrees. Mic on the table, playbook open. Coffee in a mug, stats still smoking. We don't just chat, we carpenters with data. Build a whole season from a single first and later. State of the Beavers, we talking blocks and believers. Turn every drive to a thesis from the huddle to your speakers. State of the Beavers, where every play got a meaning. We lay the bricks for the season, you can feel the culture breathing. Cruising down campus, sun on the brim so bright. Talking about Saturdays, all through a Tuesday night. Cruising down campus, sun on the brim so bright. Talking about Saturdays, all through a Tuesday night. Yeah.
After the lack of production in the first half, plenty to talk about. Let's see what they can dial up here in the third quarter.
Yeah, I think you stay calm. I think you make adjustments, Jesse. I think you realize what they're doing to us and how can I attack that. But you also tell the guys, low-scoring game, still very much in this. We can still be who we are.
It's a good point. I think on offense, this is not the time to reinvent the wheel. I think you stay true to who you are and what your identity is. And you've got to show confidence in your guys to go out and just execute better here in the second half.
Just working and poking and prodding and finding his way up to the 36.
And those plays from a defensive perspective, man, they're just super annoying because now I'm in the worst spot ever, third and manageable. Like, I don't know if you're passing, don't know if you're running, so nice job by this offense keeping this defense off balance and creating a third down opportunity that's in their favor.
He's not going to make it. What a job by this defense to stop him in his tracks.
You know, defensively, you live by the blitz and you die by the blitz. That time, they dialed it up into the run play, and the linebacker able to make a nice tackle.
So in their own territory, on 4th and inches, the offense will stay on the field. They'll run for it. And it's a first down. They'll mark it at the 44.
4th and inches anywhere on this field. I don't care if it's in the red zone, on your own goal line. If you have their offensive line, I'm going for it, and you just saw it right there. Get it done.
Looking for a man. It's Murphy. Here comes the heat. And maybe he'll get back to the line of scrimmage, but no more than that.
Well, just nowhere to go there, and it started in the pocket. It was collapsing. Quarterback felt it, so he tried to get outside, make something happen himself, but give the defense tons of credit. Excellent job in pursuit. They're able to give up no gain.
Here's the handoff. Got enough for the first down and wants more. All down, but he has enough to move the chains.
You're down. Obviously, at the half, you had a conversation. We got to come out and put points on the board. And, Jesse, it looks like they're going to start with the ground game.
And I love this, David, too. Regardless of whether they're losing or they're winning, come out here and try to be the most physical unit here in the second half. Get this run game established.
The give to the tailback. And he was fortunate not to lose yardage on that play, able to wedge it back to the line of scrimmage.
Well, you love to see that from the defense, right? It's like bend, don't break. They've given up a bunch of plays on this drive, but now that they're getting down close to field goal range, you're seeing them start to stiffen up there.
Yeah, and plays don't matter anymore. Yards don't matter. All that matters with these defenses nowadays is points and eliminating them.
Picks up the first down and gets down to avoid contact. The Beavers come to the line with a fresh set of downs. Trying to surprise him with the pass. Hit hard as he released the ball on that first down pass, and it never had a chance.
And we need more of this from this defense, man. They have let this guy have too much time to throw the football. They haven't gotten that jersey dirty yet, haven't sacked him. But this is just as good as a sack. Getting to him, hitting him, letting him feel the physicality of this game, and not letting him feel comfortable.
Well, the QB decided to keep it on that one. And listen, if you had his athleticism, you'd want to keep it too. Almost every time they run these types of option plays. But he's just going to have to do a good job of understanding when to hand it off, when to pitch it, and try to keep this defense on their heels and read his keys. He's got a lot of talent. Just got to make sure he's making the right decisions moving forward.
Now on 4th down, they'll settle for a field goal try. He needed a little late boost from the crossbar, but he gets it to go through. And we are dead even after the field goal here in the 3rd.
Well, I've seen this kicker make kicks from 50 plus, so I don't think...
Tied up and just about set to kick it away. He'll start the return inside his 5. Just never had a chance to shake loose, and he'll be brought down at the 24. Here comes the Fresno State offense onto the field. And points have been hard to come by in this one. They'll try to put together a drive. That one never had a chance. Incomplete.
In football, you hear the term quick, but don't hurry. And you can tell when you run these RPOs, the QBs want to make that decision quick. And I think he hurried it a little bit too much. Got the ball out quick, but obviously was inaccurate in his pass.
He's close to the 1st down, but they're going to mark him just a little short. And the Bulldogs really need to keep this drive alive on 3rd down. Rides the back on the option, the give. And the defense jumps on it, and they get that turnover.
And when you're on defense, and it's wet, and it's rainy, you know exactly what time it is. That ball gets a little heavier, it gets a little slicker. You're trying to get to that.
Oregon State takes over, ready to send the offense onto the field. They haven't really been able to light up this scoreboard, but putting points up would be huge here. Squeezes out a couple of yards down to the 32.
And the defense doing a great job committing to the run. When you commit to the run like this, obviously you can give up some plays in the passing game, but you got to stop the run first.
Fires to the big fella. And the defense settled in to stop that one for a short gain. And the Beavers want to pick up the tempo. They'll try to run for it. He's got enough for the 1st down. They'll spot him at the 24-yard line.
Well, I'll tell you, it was a pretty dumb decision by the opponent to go for it so deep in their own end, and this offense now is making them pay for that. After getting the ball back on the 3rd play of the drive, they're able to run it, get the 1st down, and stay on the field.
Off the play fake on 1st down. Rushes on him. The Beavers have put themselves in dire straits after that last play. It's 2nd and a mile. Back to throw, it's Murphy. Finds his big tight end. They make the stop, trying to pick up just a little bit at a time to get to that 1st down marker. You know, David, this is really what game managing is. Nice pickup on 2nd down to help them on the next play.
Yeah, I think people look at that negative sometimes, finding a quarterback that's a game manager. No.
Turning it on! Nice job by this junior quarterback to get it done on the ground.
That's the danger as a defense when you blitz this guy on 3rd down. If you don't get him to the ground right away or someone's out of a gap, his scrambling ability can hurt you, and that's exactly what happened.
Fighting for the end zone, and he dropped it! Defense got it, they're on the run. What a ride. It's been through the first 3 quarters of this game. We are all tied up. Let's check out some stats. These two teams about to find out what they're made of as we open the 4th all tied up. So 1st down will open up the final period. he got back to the 2-yard line, but the defense was ready for the run.
Well, that's a fortuitous bounce because we know this guy already fumbled earlier in the game, David. He's got to do a better job with 5 points of pressure on that ball.
Or he's going to be sitting on the sidelines. Coaches are not going to continue to trust you if you're going to continue to put the ball on the ground.
Makes the grab. It's Freeman. Across the 25. He's got room. Across the 35. Out of bounds at the 36. And a really good pickup as they're starting to move.
Man, if I'm a defense, I got to find a way to get some more pressure on the quarterback or disrupt their timing and their rhythm. I can't give them these big chunk plays through the air. I got to be maybe a little bit more aggressive or do something a little bit different.
Gets it past the marker. Nice pickup on the ground there, and they'll move the sticks with the first down.
And I love these offensive coaches going right back to your guy. I believe in you. Just because you fumbled doesn't mean I'm not going to give you the football.
Yeah, he's repaying the favor right now to this coaching staff as well. And doesn't it just seem like he's running with a little bit more juice? He looks like he's ticked off.
And a really nice job by the wide receiver. You run a drag route, find space. They're in zone coverage. They're not covering man-to-man. Find a little hole. Look at that QB. Y'all get on the same page. You could tell they were, and that's why they got the first down.
Finds his man. It's Freeman. Brings him down at the 27-yard line. It's a pickup of 15 and a first down for this offense.
And I don't know if this defense knows what just hit them because they gave up the completion, they gave up a first down, and now here's the offense back up at the line of scrimmage again, going tempo.
A little wrinkle here as they go to the Wildcat and use the extra blocker. Gets the back moving. Snap to the back. Runs for the tackle. They get him on the ground, but it'll be enough for the first down, and they might mark that down to use the Wildcat again. The Bulldogs didn't start this drive with great field position, but they have moved methodically down the field. They'll leave it with him. Can't get him to the ground. Stopped at the 13-yard line as they try to turn this into points. It'll be second down, and remember, they can pick up a first without scoring. To throw, it's Warner. Nowhere close on that one as he got drilled trying to deliver the football, and now they face third down.
Another incompletion, and I've said that a lot, and these teams are just struggling. I mean, the offense just doesn't know what to do. Nothing's working, ground game, throw game. It's kind of been a rock fight on both sides.
Got out of trouble, got rid of it. Grab near the sticks, it's Freeman. They get him stopped at the 5-yard line, but it will be first and goal from there.
Perfect timing to call that pass play. It's third and short down here in the red zone. Everybody in the stadium expecting you to run the football, and if you don't get it, maybe you kick a field goal, maybe you go for it on fourth. You don't have to worry about that now. Because of the pass completion, it's first and goal.
He works his way all the way down to the 3, and the defense is reeling. Man down on the play as the officials take a break to let him be checked out. They've got it down to the 3. Now it's second and goal. Tries again to get it in. He's knocked down a couple of yards behind the line of scrimmage.
All right, so now you're in this third down situation close to the goal line, and it just feels, David, like they're going to have to throw the football in order to score a touchdown here. I like maybe trying to get the quarterback outside on the perimeter and give him a run-pass option.
I like that too. Getting the quarterback on the move. And here's the thing. If I get close and I get stopped, it's fourth down. Fourth down means go for it. That's all that means now today in college football.
And now on fourth down, they will put it on the shoulders of the kicker to save them with his foot. The official says no good. After that failed field goal attempt, fellas, still tie ball game.
And that's frustrating. I mean, you put a drive together, you're in scoring zone like this.
Oregon State has it back, and here comes the Beaver offense. After that last drive, he came back to the sideline, and the coach probably said, "You dropped it? You didn't pick it up?" Come on, get on the ball, David.
No, that's not what he said. He said, you're doing a great job. Just keep your head up. Oh, yeah, he got blasted. You got to hold on to the football, Palmer. Turnovers decide games. Those are big plays.
It's tough on him, too, because he knows he let his offense down on that last drive. So you know that guy's eager and anxious to come out here and make a play.
Didn't have much room to run and not a whole lot of help. Short gain there and still plenty of ground to cover for the first down. It'll be 3rd and long. Looking downfield, it's Murphy. And the pressure was too much. They get him at the 15. The Beavers will punt this one away. Doesn't say much for your drive when you're looking forward to the punt. Fair catch is called for. You want to make sure that you field it cleanly in rainy weather like this. Fresno State takes over and the offense will go back to work. They built up some time of possession with that last drive, but couldn't turn it into points with the missed field goal. We'll see if they can put something on the board this time. It's complete on the right side. Good pick up there. They'll move the chains, and they're set up at the 41. Offense goes on the attack on 1st and 10. They try to pop a run on the draw. And this one will be stopped for no gain.
And they try to sneak the draw play in there and try to show pass right away, get it to the running back. Defense not fooled in the slightest. Nice job getting upfield, getting to the running back, getting him on the ground.
Plenty of work to do here on 2nd and long. Off the play fake. And he just overshot his man and threw it out of bounds and complete.
Well, I know it hasn't been a tremendous day statistically for this quarterback, but his decision-making has been good enough to win this game. Hasn't thrown a lot of TDs so far, but when things aren't open, he throws it away like on that play right there. He's not putting his team in a bad spot, and that's why they still have a shot.
That thing was down for a while, but the big bounce carried it into the end zone, and it'll be a touchback. A lot of field in front of them as they open this possession from their own 20. Wants to throw. It's Murphy. Shoots it to the left. Pulls it in. It's Williams. Out to the 35-yard line and a little extra breathing room with that 15-yard pickup. They opened up this drive, getting all the way out to the 35, and now it's 1st down again. Wants to throw on 1st down. Got it in the middle, it's Clemens. Caught, and he's close to a 1st down on the nice pickup there.
And I think the defense doing a really good job of understanding this is late in the game. It matters. Taking away the sidelines, taking away the middle of the field, making him kind of check the football down, go through his progressions, and make that clock tick.
The offense takes a timeout with 30 seconds left.
Now, you put those slot receivers in there, and here's why you do it. You back them off the football a lot of times, but who's guarding them? A lot of times those are linebackers. Those are safeties. You get those good matchups where you can feature one of your speedsters, and a lot of times good things happen.
Well, no big surprise here in the 4th quarter. The defense expecting pass, and that's why they've got extra DBs on the field. It's almost like a prevent look. Everybody back there staring at the QB. Going to be hard to throw into that. Obviously, the ball falls incomplete.
Wants to throw and not much time to work with. This one's complete. How about that elusiveness? He's got space. And this defense was flailing as he weaved his way and got down to the 26. The offense uses a timeout, 20 ticks remaining. And the Beavers have it with a 1st and 10. Keeping it on the ground with the running back. Pulled down after a nice run, and they're in the red zone at the 19.
Well, and they're running the football over to the right-hand side, and obviously that's where the kicker wants this thing. He told his head coach, get me on the right hash. I can draw this thing on the kick. It's the angle I want to go and win this game.
Timeout is called with just 2 seconds left to go. And they'll send the field goal team back out for the 2nd time tonight. Timeout is called with just 2 seconds left to go. And here comes the field goal unit for the 2nd time tonight. Perhaps duck shoes would be appropriate here as he comes out in the rain to try to win the game. And it's good. He nailed it. Guys, that one was a ton of fun to call. And the players, a lot of games sort of wash away in the memory bank. Not that one. That will be an indelible mark in their memories.
I agree, Reese. I think back to my career at Florida, and just the games that stand out the most were always the ones that went down to the wire, whether we lost or whether we won. For this team, this is going to be a good memory moving forward, David, because of how well they played.
Did you lose more of those or win more of those? I'm just asking for a friend. Tennessee, what happened? Hey, yeah, it's big time clutch, right? These are the ones that define your seasons, define your careers, and the ones you never forget, those heartbreakers that come down to the last play.
That's going to do it from here. For David Pollack and Jesse Palmer, I'm Reese Davis, and you've been watching another presentation of EA Sports College Football.
Welcome to The Debate. Our focus today is on Coach Caleb Ward, the architect who arrived at Oregon State tasked with, well, rescuing a football program. The source material describes it as standing still.
And the key issues were pretty clear, right? Stagnation, predictable play calling, and the big one, poor late-game management.
Exactly. Ward promised not a long, painful rebuild, but a recalibration. The idea was to install a modern offense and develop a competitive edge.
Which brings us to our central question. Does Oregon State's Week 2 victory against Fresno State, a really low-scoring, nail-biting 6-3 game that was secured by a last-second field goal, does that game provide compelling evidence that Ward has actually fixed those specific liabilities and, fulfilled his mandate to compete immediately?
For me, the answer is a clear yes. It absolutely does. The result itself, winning a game that, let's be honest, the previous regime would have absolutely found a way to lose, that validates Ward's #1 promise. That final game-winning drive is all the proof you need that the late-game execution problem is solved.
See, I fundamentally disagree. I mean, yes, a win is a win on paper, but the process of getting there, the numerous critical errors, the heavy reliance on a dominant defensive foundation that he basically inherited, it all suggests to me that the program's core issues are still there. They're just being masked by, a single instance of a defensive bailout and, frankly, some opponent error. You have to look past the final score.
Okay, well, let's start with the central mandate then. The goal was less about lighting up the scoreboard and scoring 40 points and more about stabilizing a program that just kept failing in those high-leverage moments. The source material is crystal clear on this. The old staff lost games they should have won. It was because of poor late-game management and a failure to adjust. Ward's directive was pretty simple. Stop the self-inflicted wounds and close out games. And in this game, they did.
Okay.
I mean, just consider the final sequence. It's tied 3-3. They have the ball on their own 20-yard line with less than 2 minutes to go. This is the exact scenario where the old Oregon State would have folded, right? A bad snap, a holding penalty, an interception.
Right. The classic collapse.
The classic collapse. But instead they executed with, almost surgical precision. A 15-yard gain from Malik Murphy to Riley Williams. Then that crucial 23-yard strike to Jimmy Valson third. All of it leading to the game-winning 36-yard field goal. That sequence required clear heads, sharp play calling, and, flawless technique under immense pressure. That's not luck. That is operational change.
I'll concede that the final drive was beautifully executed. No one can deny that. The decision-making was sharp when it absolutely had to be. But, and this is a big but for me, my concern is that this one successful drive just compensated for the catastrophic failures that plagued the other 58 minutes of the game. We hired an architect of offense, but the final output was 6 points. 6! And that was only sustained because the defense was, frankly, phenomenal.
Well, you have to factor in the conditions.
I know, but let's not gloss over the errors Ward was hired specifically to eliminate. We're talking about catastrophic turnovers. Anthony Hankerson, a running back, rated 91 overall, who was actually running really well, 5.3 yards per carry, over 100 total yards. He fumbled twice. And that second fumble near the goal line late in the third quarter, that turned 7 easy points into 0. That is the literal definition of the unmanaged error, the instability Ward was brought in to fix. If the recalibration is successful, your offense doesn't need a defensive bailout after turning the ball over inside the 5.
Look, I won't deny the ball security was dead. It was. But we have to factor in the environment. The report said heavy rain. This was always going to be a low-scoring defensive slugfest. And, turnovers are naturally going to be higher in those conditions. But even with that constraint, the team showed resilience. And crucially, they made halftime adjustments, which was a direct criticism of the previous coach's liability. Look at Malik Murphy's performance. His QB rating jumped from 94.4 at the half to 108.0 overall. That isn't a small change. That's a critical leap that shows the coaching staff unlocks something at the break. That's what in-game adjustment is. And yes, the defense deserves massive credit, but their dominance also reflects Ward's philosophy of teaching how to win with less and developing that competitive edge he promised.
I think that reliance on the defense is exactly my problem, though. Defining success just by defensive dominance, it sort of shifts the credit away from the part of the program Ward was uniquely hired to fix, which is the offense. He's the architect, right? A modern offensive mind. A 6-3 score is hardly definitive proof of a functional, modernized offense.
I think that's a little unfair.
Well, and furthermore, how can we attribute the win solely to improved management when, their success was contingent on Fresno State making a deeply questionable tactical choice? They punted late in a tied game instead of attempting a 54-yard field goal. Their kicker had already shown the range. He had a 46-yarder earlier with plenty of leg to spare. If Fresno State even attempts that field goal, maybe makes it, the final sequence for Oregon State is a desperation Hail Mary, not a manageable drive. Ward didn't just fix his own late-game management, he benefited from the opponent mismanaging theirs. That's luck, not systemic change.
Okay, that's the luck factor that always complicates these narrow wins, isn't it? But, good teams create their own luck by putting themselves in a position to capitalize. Ward's track record, the reason he was hired, showed that his teams consistently closed games. That final drive, crisp decision-making, efficient execution was precisely the functional outcome this program was missing. They didn't panic. They managed the clock, hit 2 huge passes, and got into field goal range. Good teams stabilize when it matters most. Oregon State did exactly that.
But what about the philosophical risk there? By having to rely on the opponent's, inexplicable decision to punt, the program showed it's still reliant on external variables, not internal stability. Let's be real. If Hankerson doesn't commit that second fumble on the goal line, the score is 10-3, maybe 13-3, and this conversation is over. The game is closed out much earlier. No late-game heroics needed. The fact that the entire result hinged on the defense compensating for fundamental offensive errors is proof to me that the old problems are still just lingering. They're being masked by defensive excellence.
I hear you on the turnovers, I do. But let's pivot the focus back to the offensive mandate for a second. The primary problem under the previous coach wasn't just scoring. It was predictable play calling. An offensive mind hired to modernize a program doesn't just, throw the ball 50 times in a downpour. The source material notes Ward walked in with proof that his offenses performed above their talent level.
Okay, but where was that here?
Well, getting 5.3 yards per carry against a tough defense in heavy rain, that is calculated strategic efficiency. But more importantly, when the game was on the line, he found the deep connection. Jimmy Volson III had 5 catches for 89 yards, including that huge 38-yarder to help set up the win. In a game where the opponent expected them to be predictable and just run the ball, Ward dialed up an explosive, calculated play. The offense functioned just enough to get the win, which is Ward's whole definition of success. You need to beat them on Saturdays.
That's a compelling point, but I have to question the talent utilization. If the goal is modernization, we need more than just calculated efficiency. We need production. You have highly rated talent. Hankerson's in 91, Trent Walker's in 86, Malik Murphy's in 83, yet the overall offensive production is a paltry 154 passing yards, 6.4 yards per attempt, and an interception. An offensive mind hired to modernize a stagnating program cannot point to a 6-point output as functional success even in the rain. If the standard is just being less predictable, but the result is 6 points, that still feels like stagnation, just, under a different name.
I disagree that the talent is being underutilized, especially when we look at where Ward focused his competitive edge development. I mean, the program was stuck because player development had stalled. We have to look at the defensive front seven to see where that recalibration paid off immediately. Look at Thomas Collins, a defensive lineman, not their highest rated guy at a 76 overall, but he was utterly exceptional. 3 tackles for loss, those are huge negative yardage plays, and 2 sacks. JoJo Johnson added another sack. That is a level of disruption that frankly far exceeds what we saw from that unit before. That is the kind of competitive edge Ward promised to develop. He said himself, this isn't a rebuild, this is a recalibration, and that defensive front's performance is the evidence of it working.
But a recalibration is supposed to mean minor adjustments yield major results across the board. The evidence here suggests the major result, the win, was yielded by an already talented defensive foundation that was in place before Ward's full influence could even take hold. We are talking about guys like Skylar Thomas at 84 overall and Van Wells at 83 in the secondary. The talent was already there to keep the team in games. That's a known quantity. The continued presence of critical, unforced offensive errors, those 2 fumbles, shows that the instability hasn't been fixed. So you can claim the defense is evidence of recalibration, but until the offense shows sustained effectiveness and, more importantly, ball security, the program is still kind of shackled to that same defensive ceiling.
But let's step back and look at the whole mission here. Relying on a dominant defense is part of Ward's strategy to win with less and compete immediately. That was the mandate. They were criticized for not being able to win these ugly, low-scoring, tight games. Now they can. The ability of that front seven to generate that pressure, like Collins' huge day, and to hold a team to 3 points in a critical game, that is the foundation for winning. They stopped losing a game they should have won. That was the fundamental complaint. The outcome confirms the fix.
I understand the argument that a win is a win, but we have to separate the result from the strategic health of the program. I think this victory is more of a statistical anomaly built on inherited defensive talent and some situational luck with the opponent's punt. The core instability is still there, shown by the error-prone offense. To say the stagnation is fixed based on a 6-3 win that was almost lost on a goal line fumble, it just feels premature.
The win, though, however gritty it was, is a proof of concept. It addresses the most immediate problem, poor late-game management. The team executed that critical final sequence perfectly. That shows a successful, immediate solution to the previous regime's fundamental flaw. They met the mandate. They competed immediately, and they won a game they should have been capable of winning.
And I would say, conversely, that this Week 2 results is better categorized as an exercise in defensive superiority and an opponent's gift, not a confirmation of offensive modernization. While the outcome is undeniably positive for the record book, the process shows that the program still harbors the exact error-prone instability that Ward was hired to fix. The fact that we even have to debate whether a 6-3 victory shows fundamental change just underscores how far the architect still has to build.
And that specific, highly nuanced data from this one game, that stark contrast between the defense's success and the offense's struggles, all of it culminating in this narrow, high-leverage victory, it really does provide a fascinating case study. It makes you ask whether immediate competitive success truly reflects fundamental programmatic change, or if it just, shifts where the program's foundation rests.